Nan Madol is an unusual city built on 100 islets made of basalt and coral boulders on the southeast coast of Pohnpei, between 1200 and 1500 AD. These islets hold the remnants of stone palaces, temples, tombs, and residential estates, which are considered a true archaeological wonder. The enormous scale of the structures, their technical complexity and their complexity in what they cannot bring into themselves, and the concentration of megalithic structures testifies to the complex social and religious practices of that period. But Nan Madol does not reveal its secrets, sometimes dealing harshly with those who try to penetrate them. The ancient city of Nan Madol is part of the island nation of Micronesia, located in the northwest of Oceania. It consists of a huge tapestry. It includes about 100 artificially created islets, connected by canals. Because of this network of canals, it earned the nickname the Venice of the Pacific. About 500 years ago, the first dynasty of the royal family of Saudeleurs lived in Nan Madol. On the island, their tomb has even been preserved. But they were not the first settlers in these areas. The city appeared long before their settlement and was built from enormous megalithic structures, the mystery of which remains unsolved to this day. The canals and city walls of Nan Madol were built from basalt stones shaped like logs, which is a type of volcanic rock that did not exist on the island. In the remote areas of Pohnpei, there are natural deposits of columnar basalt, where volcanic lava cooled into vertical columns. But the fact that they were somehow moved to small islets many miles away seems impossible to modern researchers. The average weight of each stone is 5 tons, with some weighing up to 25 tons. The giant logs were stacked horizontally to form a log cabin with walls as tall as up to 50 feet high and 17 feet thick. These stone logs are so heavy that it would have been impossible to move them to a small islet without the use of advanced technology. But no such technologies have been found on the island. There were earlier suggestions that the stones were transported to the island using bamboo rafts that carried them over water. However, in 1995, during the filming of a documentary for the Discovery Channel, all attempts to move stones weighing over a ton failed. In this way they failed. The name of the ancient structure, Nan Madol, translates to between spaces, and it truly lives up to its history, as it sometimes feels like this city exists in a special space, situated between truth and myths. Many things are connected to this city. Scientists still can't explain it, but the ancient myths and legends that have formed around it are easily explained. One of the legends says that this city was built with the help of magic. Local residents passed down stories from generation to generation about how this city was built. They don't know who built it, but according to legend, the stones somehow lifted themselves from Pohnpei, and they moved through space as if guided by the hands of ghosts. Since then, the locals have called Nan Madol the City of Ghosts. They claim that the ruins of this ancient city, once home to a mysterious civilization, are filled with unexplored underground tunnels that connect the man-made islets and contain tombs with the remains of giants and the spirits of dead kings. Divers say that the tunnels run under the reef and emerge underwater into caves near the harbor. Some have even been lucky enough to find the entrance to these tunnels. But right now they are so clogged that a person can't swim through them. At the same time, researchers claim that there is no evidence of the existence of underground tunnels, and any story connected with them is nothing more than a legend. However, it's important to remember that numerous attempts to find them over the years have faced various challenges, which the locals call the curse and of Nan Madol. What's amazing is that there are no written records of the history of these islands, and it is preserved only through the oral stories of the locals. The local practice of keeping secrets is considered sacred, so the authorities of the islands have always protected the sacred land and the artifacts stored within it from intrusion. In the last century, a special proclamation was even issued, which stated that excavating the sacred land belonging to past rulers with supernatural abilities is considered a violation of the law. So, archaeologists didn't have the opportunity to study these places, and the locals upheld the ban, saying that even if someone were to break it, those people would inevitably face the existing curse of Nan Madol. However, even this did not protect the tombs from being looted and the jewelry being stolen. In the early 20th century, when the island was under German administration, Governor Victor Berg made an attempt to open one of the tombs. Ignoring the royal ban, he entered the sealed tomb on the island and opened the coffin, its ancient ruler. Inside, he found the skeletal remains of giants ranging from 2 to 3 meters tall. That night, a terrible storm broke over the island. Lightning flashed, thunder roared, and a fierce wind howled. The governor fell into a delirious state, and the next morning, he died. It is said that the doctor called to the bedside of the sick person couldn't help him, and after his death, he couldn't determine the cause of death. The locals were convinced that it was a curse from the gods. There are quite a few other cases where this curse has worked. On the eve of World War II, the island was controlled by the Japanese, who discovered huge platinum coffins underwater and brought them to the surface. They were planning to export the platinum to Japan when suddenly 2 members of this mission disappeared, and they could not be found. The mysteries of the city of Nan Madol still excite the minds of researchers. They ask themselves many questions that have no answers yet. What was the need to build a city on coral reefs, requiring the transportation of huge stone logs there instead of constructing it on land? What was the purpose of building Nan Madol? And how did the rulers who lived there sustain themselves, given that there was neither food nor water on the island? There are different theories about the origin of the mysterious city and the purpose of its appearance. One of them says that Nan Madol, located halfway between the Hawaiian Islands and the Philippines, is the center of strong storms and typhoons that start in this place, but do not affect the island directly, what makes it the safest place in the Pacific. Perhaps the ancient builders were aware of this feature and used this safe location to bury their sacred ancestors. Among the many mysteries of the mysterious city are reports of giant bones found there. Even today, from time to time, people stumble upon massive bones in the jungles surrounding this place. Japanese divers reported finding large bones, similar to human ones. Does this mean that in ancient times there could have been a separate, highly developed civilization of giants that chose a remote island away from humans as their home and built the city of Nan Madol there? The mystery also lies in the dam that was discovered by the Japanese occupiers in the early 20th century, and they even planned to organize it, export to Japan. However, the island of Pohnpei and the nearby islands contain no traces of platinum. The mysteries of Nan Madol may never be solved, but it is known that someone put in tremendous effort to move many hundreds of metric tons of stone across the found island to create a grand city in a very remote location, situated both above and possibly below water. And to this day the locals will tell you that it exists, the reason why this little island has remained uninhabited. And located away from tourist trails, it is considered one of the most underrated attractions in the world.